So in this joint work with Damien de Walk from the World Bank, we're trying to understand how to improve policies aimed at increasing attendance at school of children in developing countries especially. So the main originality of the paper is that we're trying to understand basically how decisions within the household are made through some kind of interaction between the parents and the children, and how by understanding these interactions better we can improve the design of policies aimed at increasing child attendance. So in many countries, both developed and developing countries, governments are making a lot of efforts to try and incentivize parents for their children to attend school more regularly. But we also know that from other research that has been done before, that children may have private information as to whether or not they attend school. In other words, sometimes parents may not know for sure whether or not the child was at school. And when you look at the economic theory around this, basically you can sort of predict that if this is the way things work, if the children have some private information about their school attendance, then simply giving more information to the parents about whether or not the child was attending school on a particular day may increase attendance without the need to incentivize financially anyone. That's the first thing. And the second thing that theory tells us is that if this is the way decisions are being made within the household, then incentivizing the children may be more effective than incentivizing the parents. And so in order to test these hypotheses, what we did is we ran what we call a randomized control trial in 173 schools of Mozambique. And so a randomized control trial is a trial where we allocate randomly a certain treatment to a given school to be able to really cleanly identify what the effect of that treatment or that intervention was, as opposed to the effect of other confounders that could be correlated with this intervention. And so we randomized which schools received certain treatments, and the treatments were simply giving more information to the parents about their child's school attendance. In another treatment, we gave this information and also incentivized the parents with cash if the child, in this case a girl, in grades 6 or 7, was at school at least 90% of the time over the trimester. And in a third treatment arm, we also gave that information about school attendance, but we incentivized the girls themselves these times with vouchers that they could redeem against a certain number of items that we provided if they attended at least 90% of the time. And so what we find is that all our treatments increase attendance. Just giving information, for instance, increases attendance by about 7%. And giving information plus incentivizing the girls with the vouchers increases attendance by about 13%, which is statistically significantly larger than the 7% effect of the information-only treatment. We also find that the attendance gains that we obtain through the novel interventions that we evaluated, which is the information-only one and the one where we provide information as well as incentivized the girls about their own attendance, also improved the learning in math, specifically where we test it, whereas simply incentivizing the parents with cash, which is what is done by default in many countries where this type of program is carried out, which is a very popular type of program today in developing countries, did increase attendance, but did not have any effect on learning. And so the policy implications of our research is that simply providing more information to the parents about school attendance may result in increases in school attendance at a much lower cost than what we know how to do so far by using financial incentives to the parents. And the second main conclusion is that if the objective of the policymaker is simply to increase attendance and to improve learning, then where there are enough funds to consider incentivizing financially either parents or children, then it might be preferable to incentivize the children themselves.